Very good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where and when you're watching us from. My name is Motazio Shirawanyaga, Mujiwa Baria Karigizi. Na guhoka kumango shedhiri shumaka huho, Murizayo, Zayo. Today is a really cold and rainy day. It is the fifth day of the month of May, 2024. And it's good to be back here for State of the Continent. Joining me today is Jeff Waheto. Jeff, how are you?
Washira, I'm fine, and it's good to be here. It's been long. I've been away for a while, but I'm still here, and it's glad to be here.
Indeed, it's good to be here. It's good to also have you again here. The weather is unpredictable, so especially in Nairobi and in Kenya in particular. So we hope that everything will be okay. So today we are going to go direct into the conversations or the topics that we have today. And I've just mentioned about the heavy rains and floods that are in Kenya. And it is indeed becoming now, something that might people are failing even to control it. I mean, the government obviously you cannot control floods, but now there's so much issues that are coming up with the heavy rains and the floods that are happening in Kenya. We have so far we have 228 people who have been confirmed dead. We have had dams overflowing. We have had a lot of things that have been happening due to the heavy rains in Kenya. And what we urge is that people around the country in Kenya to keep safe. Make sure you're not going into to places where you can the water can carry you, because it has been a really sad affair. Heavy rains, the dams are overflowing. It is raining day and night. People are now suffering a lot here in Kenya. Jeff.
We are in this period. Unaweza kuwa unatoka kazi jioni, and uko kwa njia unapatana na nyumba yako inaenda town. But on a serious note, I've really heard the impact of the floods, because we find many families are displaced. They are now staying at schools, which are now exposing them to diseases. But now we go to another story, but it is also an effect with concerning floods. In Cameroon, chocolate makers have been wamekuwa kiteta sana, because the cost of production has increased due to climatic conditions and demand. So you find like locals in Cameroon, they are going all the way to Nigeria to sell their cocoa, and you find the cost of production is like 5 times the normal amount. So you can imagine selling it to a customer, it's 5 times more. So the customer automatically will not buy. So they are facing many challenges, but the locals are pleading for the government to make the local manufacturing to reduce the cost of production. That is happening.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff, for that. Let me give a shout out to Etiru Loito. Etiru Loito is saying he's tuned and he's watching us live. Thank you very much, Etiru, for that. And now, today we are going to just go directly to the stories, quick, fast, because you don't know whether somebody's in the rain, watching us from the rain, or they might be sweating. Anyway, so moving on to, I really like highlighting positive stories in Africa, and what I really liked about this story, women cooperatives for vegetables transforming rural village. This is in Ivory Coast. So I happened to read a story, an article on women in Ivory Coast, especially in the rural areas of Ivory Coast. They have formed cooperatives that now they're planting vegetables and they're transforming their rural village. It is now, if you look at the photos, if you look at the pictures, if you hear the stories that are there in the northern part of Ivory Coast, it is really amazing. For a very long time, women in Africa have been having so many challenges because, especially stemming from economic issues. So here, when we are seeing women doing a lot of good things, I was reading a statement by a certain lady saying that before she started planting onions and selling them, her work was just we're not gonna call it really work, but she used to beg a lot, beg for food, beg for money, and all that. But since she started being part of this cooperative and planting vegetables and selling them, their life has really changed. They are even saying that the men there have started even taking them seriously, which is a really positive thing that is happening back or up there in Ivory Coast. Jeff.
Yeah, it's be good to see women cooperatives upcoming and men are supporting them. Now in a also this is now funny because I feel it's funny because in Algeria there's disputes between Algeria and Morocco because Algeria has taken Morocco to court because Morocco has designed their jersey with a map of Morocco, but in the jersey they have also included the Algeria region. So the Algeria have taken Morocco to court because they want their region to be removed. So this has affected the CAF Federation semi-final cup because the Algeria have refused to play because Morocco wanafika airport jezi zao zinachukuliwa forcefully. So unapata Algeria they are refusing to play if the Moroccan wanacheza na hizo jezi zenye ziko na map zao. So they have been lost by default and gaining the other team's points. So that's what's happening in Morocco and Algeria.
Yeah, thank you. Keeping up with the world of sports, the Ethiopian athletes and the Kenyan athletes have really dominated in the Madrid marathon that just happened recently. And it's something that, I know it's obvious. Most times, Ethiopians and Kenyans are the one who are, dominating in that, in these marathons. But either way, it is worthy to note that the Madrid marathon, we see Ethiopians coming in strongly, we see Kenyans coming in strongly, especially after the Nairobi City Marathon that just happened also some time back. We see the people who are winning there are also still winning there. So it is really a positive thing for us as Africans. And when we see our Kenyan flag being hoisted high in Madrid, especially in the world of marathon, we know that we have been represented well, and we actually feel proud. And what I'd like to say is congratulations to the Ethiopian and the Kenyan athletes who have really dominated in the Madrid marathon. And we are now hoping that once we get to what we call the Olympics, we also see these athletes, especially our Kenyan athletes, doing us proud and representing our country quite well.
Yeah, now on a positive note, the UN, through his spokesperson, condoled with the eastern part of Africa, including Burundi, Tanzania, and Kenya, who are mostly affected by floods. They want to work closely with the national government to know how they can assist the countries in cases of floods. So I was going through somewhere an article and I read about what is leading to floods, and I saw that the Indian Ocean, there is a climatic change called the Indian Ocean dipole, where you find that there are three phases: there are positive, neutral, and negative phase. So in the positive phase of the Indian Ocean dipole, we find that the western part of the Indian Ocean has warm water, while the eastern part of the Indian Ocean has cold, deeper water. So you find that the water in the western part of the Indian Ocean, which is warm, evaporates, which is now leading to heavy rainfall, which you are experiencing in Kenya and Tanzania and Burundi. So that's, I think, is a major cause of floods in eastern part of Africa. And on the contrary, in the eastern part of the Indian Ocean, Indonesia and Australia, they are really facing drought. No, it's a coincidence. If the positive phase, they are in the western part, they are facing warmer. The eastern part is facing cold. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. I'm sure many of the people did not understand why they cannot get an explanation as what is happening at this period, especially in the Eastern Africa and area. But I think you've done that justice. Now, I always have this special segment that I do every once in a while in the state of the continent, where I just highlight some things. Some time back I talked about the youngest president in Africa, talked about the richest countries in Africa according to GDP. And today I want our people to learn something. What are the seven highest mountains in Africa? Basically, what are the seven peaks in Africa that reign supreme? So number one, obviously, is Mount Kilimanjaro. Mount Kilimanjaro is in the northern part of Tanzania, which is the highest mountain, is the highest peak in our continent of Africa at 5,895 meters. You can imagine. It is the highest peak in Africa. followed by our very own Mount Kenya, or otherwise known as Kirinyaga. It is the second highest mountain in Africa at 5,199 meters. And then number three, we have a certain mountain known as Mount Stanley. Mount Stanley is in the border, or is at the border of DRC and Uganda. Mount Stanley, number three, is 5,109 meters tall, followed again by Mount Speke. Mount Speke is also in Uganda. You know, Uganda some the highest mountains. I think a majority of them are coming from Uganda. So Mount Speke, coming at number four from Uganda, is at 4,890 meters tall. So Mount Speke is followed by Mount Baker. Mount Baker again is from Uganda at number five. Number five is Mount Baker, Uganda, 4,844 meters tall. You can imagine how high can that be? I don't know how many people can be able to climb these mountains. And then one thing that I've realized about these mountains in Africa, a majority of them, okay, three of them are coming from Uganda. But funny thing about all of them, they really have, if I can say, quote unquote, white names. You know, when you hear Mount Stanley, Mount Speke, Mount Baker, you're not hearing African names. And then at number six is Mount Emin. Mount Emin is in the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, at 4,798 meters tall. So that is Mount Emin, number six. And last but not least, number seven on my list is Mount Meru, Tanzania, at 4,565 meters. You know, Mount Meru is in Tanzania, but many people might assume it's in Kenya because we have a tribe known as Meru in Kenya. Actually, funny enough, I've gotten to see Mount Meru like with my own naked eyes. You know, it's quite a beautiful, beautiful feature. It is in the northern part of Tanzania, around the Arusha area. Very beautiful mountain there. So that is my special list for this time state of the continent. Jeff, I don't know whether you know these mountains.
I would like to say a Kikuyu phrase because I've learned something new, that Uganda has the most mountains in the highest 7 mountains in Africa. It goes like Bikomenyagano Ndamenya, Karoheni.
Karoheni.
So to learn, and especially about Africa. Now, in a positive note, in Nigeria, Afrobeat area, the government has increased the salaries up to 25% and 35% in the education, health, and security sector. So this has become since 2019, where the minimum salary for a person was 30,000 naira, but now they have increased it to 37,500 naira. That's the lowest salary someone can be paid working in the government. And Nigeria has been facing, starting the year, they have been facing inflation. The naira has been weakening. But now, on a positive note, we are seeing that the government is coming out stronger. And we hope for the same case in Kenya. Our doctors, they will negotiate with the government and they find a solution so that we can receive positive news.
I don't want to talk about what's happening in Kenya. We hope they get what they want, but they also try to be reasonable. I hope the government and the KMPDU meet at a meeting point, because what they are asking is a little bit high, because there are so many debates on whether a doctor, an intern, a medical intern is different from any other type of intern, and whether the country can be able to afford this. It's a whole discussion that I don't want to get into. But as we wrap up, we have a special announcement for you, as we had informed you some time back on our special broadcast that we held on the Leading Life, Leading Self, and Leading Others. We have a course, we have a program that we are rolling out, and we want to see you there. We hope that you will come and be part of this program. It's going to be an amazing course that will run for 4 months, starting at the end of this month of May and it will run all the way for 4 months. You'll have 6 amazing, amazing modules that will be covering, and the program will take 12 weeks. The course will take 12 weeks. What you're going to be seeing there, you're going to be seeing seasoned facilitators, you're going to be seeing guest speakers, you're going to be having reading assignments, you're going to be having recorded videos and networking sessions. You can't imagine. It's going to be awesome. And the modules that we are hoping to cover, or we will cover in this amazing course: number one, we'll be covering about managing your own career. Many people have been asking about careers, have been asking, what do I do, where do I do, this and that, and we'll be having that module for you. We'll also be talking about entrepreneurial skills, entrepreneurs in the house, people who say they don't want to be employed, they want to employ themselves. What does it mean? What do you need to survive? What does it take for you to call yourself an entrepreneur, and such kind of things? And we'll also be talking about relationship and situationships. These days we hear a lot of situationships. I don't know if Jeff is in one, but we have a lot of relationship and situationships. And we're talking about relationships. We are not only talking about romantic relationship, we'll also be talking about platonic relationship, and you'll get to be taught about such amazing, amazing stuff. And then we also have Knowing and Growing Africa. We are always talking about how we can make our own continent great. And this course really caters that for you. You'll be hearing things such as the impetus of the African identity. What does it mean to be an African? How can you use that power of being an African to your advantage? How can we grow our own continent as Africans? And then we'll also be talking about leadership. We'll be teaching people about leadership skills. How do you develop in the world of leadership? Basically, leadership development. And last but not least, we'll be talking about personal branding. How do you brand yourself? How do you put yourself out there? How do you get to be seen, and be in the right places? That's exactly what we'll be doing. It's going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing course. If you really want to be part of it, go on to our website, that is www.rashidaspeaks.com, and you will see details there. You'll get to register, you'll see the payment details as you're seeing them on your screen, or you can use any of our social media platforms that is rolling down there in your screen, so that you can be able to know about this course and talk to us if you want to be part of it, or how you can be part of it. The charges will go for 30,000 Kenya shillings only. You can imagine, only for such an amazing course. But for early bird, for people who are paying from today all the way to that is the 17th of May, they will get a discount, and they'll be paying at 27,500. It is possible for you to pay in installments. It is possible for you to pay for another person that might benefit from this, and it's going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing course. If you want to learn something, if you want to build yourself, you cannot miss this course. So kindly reach out to us, find a way to talk to us. Is either social media, is which one you prefer, kindly do so. Whether you want to call us, the numbers are there on your screen. If you want to use our email, it is still also there. Kindly reach out if you want to do so. So from my end, I don't have much as we are wrapping it up. I don't know whether those are our numbers. If you want to contact us, kindly you can contact us with those numbers for the purposes of the course. We'll be calling it, or we are calling it, Leading Self, Leading Others, and Leading Life. Jeff, do you have anything as we wrap up?
Just to add on that, I really emphasize, because of late I've realized that people assume they know something, but they don't know in broad. So with leading self, leading others, and leading life, you'll get this chance to interact, and we have really expanded these topics. I am sure you will enjoy it. And you can only find us on our social media platforms at Washira Speaks. And for those who don't know our shows, we have 3 shows. We have 2 shows. We have African Corner, State of the Continent, but we have an episode of Afro Quiz, which happens on every Friday. We post on every Friday at 8 p.m. Kenyan time, and African Corner happens weekly on Wednesday at 8 p.m. And State of the Continent happens on once after every 2 weeks on Sundays at 8 p.m. You can be also part of us, not only in the comment section, you can also be a panelist, and feel free to reach out in all our social media platforms at Washira Speaks. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff. I can also see Kipiego and Hillary on the in the comment section. Kipiego and Hillary, thank you very much. So, guys, want to wish you a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. I know this is a week of new beginnings for so many people. They're getting into different spaces, and we want to wish them well. And also for the people who are within the country and in the East African region, kindly, kindly take care of yourself. Don't go into places where you'll fly. The waters can carry you. Kindly make sure that you protect. You know, you have been seeing a lot of madness going on in this country. So kindly, if you are you know that it's not safe, don't don't get into those deep waters. Utabebwa, and it is not going to end up well for you. Apart from that, my name is Motagiwa Shirawanyaga. Ishine gira rashia mobi mobori. Dayo. Good night.